Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, so today, what is the name of the chapter?
Karma Sannyas Yoga.
Then what was the name of the chapter day before yesterday? That is third chapter.
It is chapter 5, Karma Sannyas Yoga.
Yeah, today is correct. Chapter 5. And what was the name of chapter 3? So basically, Karma Yoga, right? And it's action in Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, I'm recording as well. Okay. So, so today's chapter is chapter 5, and that's also called Karma Yoga, but in Krishna conscious. So let's have our Mangalacharan and see what's the difference between chapter 3 and 5, right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Chevo Narotamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jagat Udiraye. Hare Krishna. So this particular shloka is sung. Have you ever heard this shloka? I know it's different from the usual shloka, but have you ever heard this shloka prior to this?
No.
No. I just thought I will introduce this particular shloka because this shloka is chanted prior to chanting Srimad Bhagavatam. So for Bhagavad Gita, we are chanting Ajnana Timrandasya, right? So we are telling, to move us from darkness to light. But here we are giving, paying respect and obeisances. This is for Srimad Bhagavatam. So the difference between Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavad Gita is the story by God, right? It's told by him. It's narrated by Krishna. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the stories of the devotees, which are about the Lord. So here it's by the Lord and that is about the Lord, right? So I just thought I will introduce this, and it is there in Veda base. So you can please slowly, maybe after you finish your Bhagavad Gita reading, you can parallelly start that. So now let's start our journey into our main 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimrandasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Tute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Brinda. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So moving to the presentation, Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So let's start as usual. I would request you all to take turns and start reading the English version. So the first text is Arjuna's confusion. Starts off like this. Arjuna vacha sanyasa karme kannaya punar yoga cha shashi yakshreya ektayor eka tanme bruhi sunichitam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Arjuna said, "O Karna, first of all you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommended, and then you recommended work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?"
Okay, now he's very confused. Hare Krishna, very beautifully read. Thank you so much. So he's saying that you're asking me to renounce work. Okay, agreed. And then you're telling me work with devotion. How can I do that? Because according to him, renounce work means don't do work, right? So suppose somebody comes and tells, renounce your school and college. What do we think? Okay, I will not go. I'm going to be at home, right? Now he is telling that, kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial. One of that you might have to tell me definitely which is more beneficial is what he is asking. So let's see, how many times this thing and why is this question coming up, right? He told third chapter and fifth chapter, but forget it. But this was already clarified, right, in the third chapter. So why is it coming is devotional service is better than dry speculation overall, right? So that we are clear. So that is the solution. But why is this confusion coming? Because in the second chapter, Krishna very clearly says knowledge of the soul is described by Krishna. We saw that. What is the size of the soul?
1/10 part of the hair.
Lovely. So it is 1 by 10,000 size, the size of the soul. It's a very small thing, tip of the hair, right? So that is called Sankhya Yoga. He spoke that in the second chapter. And then in the same second chapter, he explained very clearly that one should do prescribed duties. And what happens to the soul? Soul gets entangled when you work, right? Because of the fruitive activity, it will get entangled. And what should we do? We should do devotional service to remove the entanglement. What happens when our hair gets knotted or when we are tied up? We will disentangle it, right? So that is done by how? By devotional service. So finally, third chapter, he's telling in third chapter, a particular place where he's telling, no, somebody who has knowledge. Knowledge means I'm not talking about physics, chemistry knowledge. Somebody who has knowledge about the Vedas, right, has absolutely, that is spiritual knowledge, need not work. Like Janaka Maharaj or Krishna, need not theoretically work. Of course, the shloka is different. Yadyat acharadi shresis tattat eveta nojuna sayat pramanam kurute lokastatan vartite means different. Means that no, when great people do, people will follow. But theoretically, what he's telling, such people need not do work. But however, they have to work for setting an example. So that is what he's telling. And fourth chapter, he talks about lots of sacrifices, right? So we saw about transcendental knowledge and all that, and everything he said and everything he spoke. And finally, he said, he concludes by saying all kinds of sacrifices culminate to knowledge. So he said, all this, whatever yagna you do, whether it's, fire yagna or, Sankirtan yagna, ultimately, we have to come back to Krishna conscious knowledge. So, and finally, again in fourth chapter end, he's telling, get up and fight. So he is like totally confused. Oh my God, what is this? It's contradictory. So he is clearing the doubts. So this is the beauty of a student. They don't survive in doubts. They ask, which is why your fourth chapter very clearly says, right? Tadvidhi pranipratena praniprastena sevaya upadrishtena te jnanam jnaninas sattva sastvitah. So what does it mean? Tatvidhi pranipratena. Go and seek a proper spiritual master. Praniprashtena sevaya. Humbly ask, doubts, right? And then, you will get it clarified. So that's what he's doing here. So Shri Bhagavan Vacha Sanyase Karma Yogakcha Now Shreyasa Karavyupahu Tayostu Karma Sanyasa Karma Yogo Vichinyate. Hare Krishna.
The personality of the Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work.
Very nice. So what he's saying is both are good. If you want to work also is fine. That is, but work in devotion. Or if you want to renunciate work are also good. But of the two, work in devotion is easy. Why? Because it's simpler. Because if you're going to a forest, it is very unlikely that you think of God all the time. So one of the devotees in this group messaged that I can't concentrate. I can't focus, right? So imagine here itself we can't focus. And if we are going to a forest and if we are going to think of God, no way our mind is going to be fixed. So this is a story time. Nirgas fall down due to fruitive activity. So let's talk about Nirga. So pay attention to the story, which you anyways will. But what is a story about is you all were confused, right? Every time, not only you, even I used to be thinking, Vikarma we don't need to do. None of us want to have Vikarma. why not, good karma, right? So let's start. So there is this king called King Nirga, and he used to do a lot of fruitive activities, all good activities only he would do. And that too, he used to do it on very special days. Like you have, right? If you buy a particular dress in a particular month, you get double discount. Usually a shop fellow may give you 10% discount, but if you're going in specific months like February or August, or a clearance sale or a close down, you may get a huge discount, right? So therefore, King Nirga found, used to, like that. Even charity, there are some discounts. Discounts means double benefits, right? So, or multiple benefits. So he used to wait on Ekadasi day or some special days, and he used to perform charity. So his credits were so much. He built so much of credits. And what was he doing is he was giving 1 lakh cows, and not plain cows, fully jeweled, with gold ornaments, silver and all, to Brahmins. Each Brahmin he will give one cow, fully decked. Now, what happened in the process when he gave 1 cow to a Brahmin, the cow ran and went and joined the queue of rest of the cows which he was donating. Now, unknowingly, the king went and redonated the same cow to another Brahmin. Now, the two Brahmins start fighting. This is my cow, this is my cow. Now, the king has to give his judgment. Now, the king does a very beautiful thing. He says, whoever gives up, right? Whoever says, okay, I don't need this cow, I will compensate with 10,000 cows. Now tell me, what will you do if a king gives this kind of an offer to you? All are silent. Did you understand what I was asking?
Mother, please repeat.
So, did you understand that he was donating cows, and the cows went and joined the queue, and he redonated the same cow to another Brahmana? So both were claiming the same cow. So he says, whichever Brahmin gives up, right? He says, okay, I will give off this cow. For the cow, for that Brahmin, he will give he'll give 10,000 cows. Whoever says it's okay, I'll give up on this cow, because only one cow both can't divide, right? So he says, if any one of you give up this cow, the other person gets compensated with 10,000 cows. So if you are in the Brahmin's place, what would you do?
Take the offer.
Absolutely. I would have first told, okay, take the cow, give me 10,000 cow. How does it matter? Anyway, this is OC cow, right? The other extra, if I'm getting 9 cows, 9999 cows, why not take it, right? But Brahmins are very different. So they are not very materialistic, but they don't want to give up on their stuff too. So they both curse him and tell him that you will become this lizard. And so this is happening, and after many years, Krishna's children, grandchildren are all playing, and the ball falls inside the well, and they see a huge lizard, which you can see here, and they get scared and they run away and call Krishna. Krishna comes, sees this, and he takes the lizard out, and that is when he comes back, and of course he gets moksha. Now, why does this happen? Is because in this whole charity, his entire charity was centric to him, like how Arjuna told, right? He was very compassionate. He says, it's my kingdom, my uncle, my grandfather, my teacher, right? There is I factor. Like that, he did everything. Like, my kingdom, I want to give charity, I want to do thing. In the process, he gave only one, in between, he gave one charity for a temple. So that is why that is so powerful and transcendental, that this temple charity is what has saved him, that Krishna comes and actually rescues him. So you may do hundreds of charity, but even one charity done for Krishna conscience, this is what will come in the 6th chapter. So even little bit, if you do swalpa apyasit dharmasya trayate bhagate, so even little bit, if you're going to do for the sake of Krishna, right, you are going to go to a very special level. Even little bit Krishna doesn't forget and comes back, just like Draupadi, right? That little cloth she tied, and that was the one which was saving her, right? So Krishna doesn't like to keep what should I say, like loan. You do something, he doesn't like to retain with him, he like to give it manifold. Hare Krishna. So proper understanding of renunciation is very important. Hare Krishna. Prape chikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuno mumuknubi prarityago vairagya palgukhatyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. When persons eager to achieve liberation renounce things related to Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is called.
Okay, I asked you all in the 3rd chapter how many want to run it, right? Few of the Mataji's told yes, Prabhuji's never accepted. But I'm sure even boys would have wanted at one stage to run away, right? So such person who want to achieve, they leave everything, even related to Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is very wrong. Example, chanting. Okay, I'm renunciating, so why should I chant? I'm not going to chant, I'm going to give up on chanting. That is stupid. That's not going to work. And then that is not going to be accepted. So he says that whatever you're doing should be for the good of for us, right? So that's what he's saying. Uh, so that's that, and it goes on. So now again 5.3 stretches on karma yoga or sanyasa. Karma yoga means working in Krishna conscious. Karma sannyasi is renunciation, leaving everything. So let's see what Krishna is saying. Jayo sanitya sannyase yo nadveno inarkaiknati nirdvando hi mahabaho shukabandhat pramuchyate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, liberated from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna.
Very clearly he says, if you do not have hate and lie, you don't have to wait for death, right? If you can be in a very balanced state, automatically you will get, which means what? Renounce action. Doesn't matter, I will write, whether I get medical college, engineering college, doesn't matter. Can we be like that? No, I want only medicine. I will write engineering, but even if I get engineering, I will cry if I lose medicine, right? That's our mentality. So that's the point. So can anyone tell me who is the person in the picture? So long silence. So he appears along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is called Haridas Thakur. He was, I managed to see the tree under which he was doing this chanting when I had been to Jagannath Puri last month, and he was a Muslim, and he was telling this Mahamantra. Can you imagine how many times he used to tell? Literally 22 hours. He used to tell over, like literally 3 lakh times. So it was like so many times he used to keep telling, right? So he was, he was called Namacharya, and he was reincarnation of Brahma. So what was happening is, in terms of mala, he used to do like 192 malas, right? Rounds. We are doing 16 rounds we do, and we are now struggling to do even 1 round, right? So you can imagine. You can do your max. So this is what he used to do. And what happened is during that time, Chand Ghazi and all the Muslim rulers tried many ways to destroy him. It didn't work. So finally he sent a prostitute. So those days there's a rule that if a lady seeks something from a man, he can't bluntly refuse. So he says that, can you go and come back tomorrow because I haven't finished chanting. She goes and comes back the next day. He tells the same thing. And the next day she comes and she says that, oh my God, you asked me to go twice. And I am like really running out of time. And he says, no problem. Why don't you sit here? I'm almost done with chanting. I just need to do a little more chanting. Just my final rounds. So he agrees and she sits there and he's chanting. What is he chanting? So let's all chant with him once. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He just does the last few times of the chanting. And she gets so purified, and immediately she falls on the feet and accepts the truth that she didn't come to seduce him, but because she came on the orders of the minister and, to deliberately detrack him, and she becomes a devotee. And Haridas Thakur said, yes, he knew. He already knew that she was going to come, and he was supposed to leave 3 days ago. He waited because he wanted her to come, and he thought there was a good opportunity to convert her. Can you see exalted souls? Even Prabhupada went to US and spoke to hippies, right? So imagine hippies, y'all are in India, so y'all know we already have restriction, whether it's boys or girls. It's not possible for us to stay overnight outside, right? So even if you have a birthday party or if you want to have a sleepover in your friend's house, I don't know how many parents allow. And even if they allow, it's like, okay, you call, give me your friend's number, give me the friend's parents' number, yes or no? Right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, hippies are outside the scope, right? They have all abominable practices. They probably will have a girl a day. They smoke, they drink, everything possible. They don't have rules. Prabhupada went and, sort of made them devotees of Krishna. He gave Krishna love. Like that, exalted devotees are always concerned about people like them. And he knew that prostitute was going to come. So he stayed there to actually make her a devotee. So that is a specialty. And she became a very staunch devotee. So now let's move on the topic. Hare Krishna. Brahmanadaya karmani sangam tyatva karoti yah lipyate na sapapena padmapatram imam basha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme God, is not affected by sinful actions, as the lotus leaf is untouched by the water.
Yeah, Padma Patram means lotus, right? So the Patram. So you don't, the water does not touch the lotus leaf, right? It's always like, it's not like the nail and the skin, not stuck. It's like always floating. So that's how he says you should be, your duties you should perform, but don't get over attached to them. And yes, Shruti Priya, you're right, take the offer. Yes, I would. And Priya Dashni, it's not Gauranga Prabhu, it's Haridas Thakur, who was a close friend or associate of Gauranga Prabhu. So let's see this video. So what did Prabhu? You can't hear. Huh? Imagine, right? So 5.18 Hare Krishna. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Kavi Astini Suni Chaiva Svapakeva Pandita Samadarshinaha. This is one of the favorite shlokas which I have chanted, and it says Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. So basically, a humble sage sees everything equal. A Brahmin or Gavi means cow, Hasti means, you all know better than me actually Hindi, right? So elephant, and Suni is dog, and Swapakeva is a dog eater. He sees that there is Paramatma there and he treats everyone equally. So this is very important, right? There are many sentiments, especially in India, where they say if there is a black cat which crosses, it's not good. Some Brahmin colleague of mine told that they don't touch a dog. They say dog is considered as abominable, they don't touch. And instantly they had been to the daughter's house and they had a dog. And when they tried to touch, they feed the dog vegetarian food. But why do you have to do this? Right? A dog is a non-vegetarian. You're supposed to be vegetarian. You will give diabetes to the dog if you give food which is vegetarian, is what some doctors say. So all I'm saying is, the regulatory principles are for us, right? It's not for the animals. We are not going to go and reform the animals. Yes, we can offer prasadam so that they get elevated, but you don't change their practice for accommodating yourself. Krishna 5.22. Yehi samparshaja bhoga dukkhayognaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha.
Hare Krishna. An intelligent person does not take part in the source of miseries which are due to the contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he says intelligent person does not take part in the source of misery. Right? Why? Because the source of misery will be, it's because of contact with the world. For example, let me just tell you, senses contacting. Look at this picture. These are moths, light moths, right? They are attracted by light and they go and they die. Now, if you take a deer, it has a very powerful sense of hearing. And the killer hunter will play music so that the deer gets attracted and go near the hunter. Now, the bee is attracted because of the taste of nectar. And it will get stuck in the so much that the flower closes and the bee won't know how to escape. So now the fish is even funny. there are so many fishes in the water, but the fish is another fish, so it's a taste, right? They come and they get into trouble. And there's another elephant. So elephant is stuck because the elephant will be going around and it will get stuck in the hole, right? So this is the situation. Now this is all for animals which have one active senses. But look at us. We have multiple active senses, so that's very, very difficult. So what we can do is what we are talking about. So 5.29. So let's see what Krishna's relationship is. Bhuktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sukridim sarva bhutanam yatmam shantim rachati. Hare Krishna.
The sages, knowing me as the ultimate purpose of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from the pangs of material miseries. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for reading. Very clear again. So the sage, they are knowing me as the purpose, ultimate purpose of sacrifice, right? And austerity. The Supreme Lord and the demigods are well-wishers. So basically what he's saying, everybody, Maheshwaram, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram means he is the Ishwara, head of all the lokas. And Sukridim means friend for all, Sarva Bhutanam, not just human, but all lives, right? Includes animals, everything. And whoever understands this and gets peace, right? So that's what he's saying. So Krishna is a friend for all, not only Gopas, but even for us. So here 5.1, yet Shrecha, so 5th chapter has 29 verses, where the debate is whether you should do sannyasi or karma yoga. And what does Krishna tell? What should you do, karma yoga or kanya sannyasya? Please unmute. There's no right or wrong answer, you can try. Okay, let me just check something. Karma sannyasa means leaving and running to the forest. Does he say karma sannyasa? Does he
do karma yoga?
Yes, karma.
We should do karma yoga.
Yes, so karma yoga is better than some. You can do both, but then karma yoga is better. Thank you so much. Karma yoga is better because there you will be able to. It's easier, right? Karma sannyasi is more difficult, and in the karma yoga you should focus on neshkama karma yoga, which I already told. Give up on the results, right? And then finally liberation comes for a person who's here in this world itself. So with this, we are coming to the end of the chapter. Tomorrow we will see Ashtanga Yoga. Now you will all come and tell, is there anybody in this group who says that, no, I want to renunciate and go to the forest? Is there anybody? I mean, it's not wrong. He says, of the two choices, this is easy. We don't have to necessarily take the easy path. We can take the tougher one too. So is there anyone in this group who feels that, no, I want to go to the forest? Anybody? Nobody. But still tomorrow Krishna is going to tell for some of them who says, no, I will do the tough one. How can you estimate? How can you tell it's tough? I will only do and I will decide. So tomorrow we are going to do the other one, renunciation. So what are the process? How do we follow? Why do we follow? And how to go about? So tomorrow's 6th chapter is all about renunciation and going to the forest. Let's see our journey from the field. We're currently in the battlefield. Tomorrow we will all go to the forest. So all get ready with whatever you have to come and we will travel to the forest, right? Hare Krishna. With this, I end the chapter. If there are any doubts, you can ask, but I'll just say the prayers. Vancha kalpa darubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, all of you. Krishna, Krishna, Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Now tell me who's going to tell. You have doubts. If you have doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'm going to take you all through the presentation, bridge course. Today, we'll be able to cover everything. Presentation also, bridge course also, story also. Yeah. Okay. I assume no doubts, but if you still have doubts, you can ask by end of this chapter. Spirituality. I have to change the background. Okay, so this is about nature of the world, right? So let's see what it is. So nature of the world. Let's see how many of you feel this is a wonderful place. We done a little bit of this, but I'm just asking.
Yes, it is.
Sorry? You feel? Okay, that's nice. How many feel this is?
Mataji, it is.
I'm not able to hear you. How many feel? Okay, it's a miserable place. Okay, so it's 50-50. It's neither wonderful nor miserable. So let's estimate. Many are born in good opulences, but many are born against their choices, right? They are blind, physically challenged, mentally challenged. None of them want that. They don't have even food to eat, disabilities, right? So much against the thing. No one wants to die still. No one wants to die, but still you see thousands of people actually dying. We are heartbroken, shattered, and we are seeing this. It's not like new. Ever since we are born, we are seeing that. We always want to be young and energetic, but we become old. So, President of US, in his speech, can someone read this, please?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Yes.
5th November 1994, Reagan announces, I have recently been told that I am afflicted with Alzheimer's disease. I now begin with a journey that will take me into the sunset of my life.
So very clearly he says, I have recently been told that I am affected with Alzheimer's. Okay, and he says that he is going to start. And now, due to receding memory, he is not even able to remember that he was once a president of USA. All of us want to be hale and healthy, but we come across various diseases. Some are chronic, some fatal. Even though medically we are advanced, imagine our COVID position, right? I think virtually all of us have had COVID. I had in Jan. But I don't know if there is anyone who has not got COVID. This Muhammad Ali. So, do you think Muhammad Ali will be able to easily lift two of us in this room? Or anyone has a doubt? Yes or no?
Yes.
Can you say that?
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, so clearly he'll be able to pick easily, right? So today, let's see what's happened to him. Today he's suffering from Parkinson's. He can't even lift his coffee cup. So in spite of rich and famous, in spite of having a lot of money, there are problems. So what are the problems? So this is a very important part if you want to make a note. So this is called Adi Atmika Klesha. Adi Atmika is the first one. So basically, I told you four main issues, right? Birth, death, old age, and disease. That's the main four primary. And these are the secondary, which means Adi Atmika, problems which are caused because of our own body and mind. I'm not feeling well. I have a headache, right? So that's my body is creating trouble for me. And my mind can create trouble, right? So there may be, let's say, Divya. I'm talking to Divya. She's not responding. On purpose, she's so arrogant. She's not talking, right? It may not be true. Maybe she's having a speaker problem or I'm having a hearing problem, but I will assume, which is not true. That is Adhyatmika. Now, Adi Baudika Klesha means different entities, outsiders. It could be neighbor, it could be friend, or whatever I told you. Just now, Divya told, right? But Divya genuinely may be thinking, okay, why I should bother about Radhika? I will just let her keep shouting or let her keep calling. I'm just going to ignore. So there is truth in it, right? So that is Adi Baudika Klesha. So
an angry elephant is about to explode. Mothers scream. Children scatter. As
videos I'll show you later, because of copyright will be stuck. So I'll play them. Then Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi, I told you. Dukkha Donanu Darshanam. So these are the four primary and did I tell you Adi Devika I left, right? So Adi Devika are natural calamities. So a classic example is COVID, right? It's come, your tsunami, all this is comes. You just do not have control. It affects some. And these are primary, and this is a Dukalayam. Real problem, one that is common to all, right? But nobody wants it. This is common. Birth, old age, death, disease is common to all. Nobody wants it. All this, Adi Atmika, Adi Baudika, Adi Devika, common for all. As I said, everyone is hit by COVID. At least, if not, you've got an attack, at least you know someone dear and close who's gone, right? It's all very painful, all addictive, illusion, right? Flickering mind. So what is happening? Who wrote Vedas? Vedas are written by Vyasa. Topmost Vedic, you should inquire. Atato Brahma Jignashu, right? So it means that we should now inquire. You should ask about transcendence. What is this? So what is the difference between an animal and a human being? Because an animal cannot ask, who am I? We can. Where do I come from? Where will I go after death? So 7 days, Parikshit was told he's going to die in 7 days. Okay, and what did he do? He went and heard Bhagavatam 24 hours, did not eat, sleep. And Parikshit had come there and they never had a WhatsApp message or a CCTV reply. But the entire group of people, you can see all of them. Vyasa is also here. Narada is here. Everywhere they have come and sat here. Right? And Gandhi, he followed non-violence, but he believed in Gita. This particular poor sheep is only focused on the food. He doesn't know it's going to become a bakra and hang here. So he's so happy about the grass, but he doesn't know he's going to die. So this is what I told you, cannot inquire. But we will inquire, who am I, where did I come from, where do I go? And life, inquiry, if you inquire and act, you will go to higher planet. If you don't have, you will do lower planet. Why do you say if you inquire, you go to higher planet? Because when you inquire, you know what's right, what's wrong, and you will stop. Right? Let me just switch on the charger. Just give me a second. Yeah. Everyone has to become a sannyasi. Definitely no. You can be a grasta, you can marry, you can do it. You just have to follow Krishna consciousness, but don't be Grahamid. What is the difference? Grasta is someone who focuses on Krishna consciousness. He'll have marriage, she'll be married, they'll have children, but they'll keep Krishna in the center. He spoke about it. And Grahamedi is someone where they keep themselves in the center. Is bona fide if he makes relevant inquiries. Is bogus if he does not make. So basically, even a grahastha is justified if he is focusing on Krishna consciousness. But a sannyasi becomes vrityachara. We saw, right? He's bogus if he does not focus. So Brahmadi is like interested. Okay, I party, I eat. I'm not bothered about future. I will not make any inquiry. I will be tied and I will only think of my tie, whether it's a gold or whether it's iron. Tell me one thing, which jail would you prefer? Would you like being locked in a golden jail or an iron jail or a silver jail?
I guess nothing matters because at the last we are in the jail.
That's so sweet. I thought so that very sensible. When I asked this question, first thing someone told me is gold. So we are so bogged that we just don't even see the content jail. We see gold and we are running. We are so materialistic. We are very thoughtful. Yes, we are in the jail. That's what matters. Why we bother about whether it's gold, silver, right? Grahamedi wastes his night with all this, sex, cinema, gambling, liquor, etc. He accumulates money more than what is required, and artificial standards, competition. Oh, he has 2 cars. I don't have food also, but doesn't matter. I will use credit card and buy a car. Leads to unlimited competition. Right? We keep on doing it. Right of that we do all this. We are ignorant of the temporary nature of the body. And this is a family clip. And I can never take my eyes off where I have my cousin and my cousin's wife. They keep fighting like dogs and pigs, but they used to put it in the Facebook, right? A diamond ring. And the irony is, as if they are so well married and so happy, which is what we all thought. But later we realized that the girl, and this confession came with enough proofs. And the boy also told that this girl goes around with many men. She was typical. But the way they project is, they are such great couple and they are so much in love and they are so dedicated. This is how they project and this is how they keep going around it. Right? So Facebook is not the right thing. So this is called a family show, right? The blip, blip. What did I say? Blip, which you fool people. Right? Community show, the world show. Yet he is mad after temporary arrangements, right? No inquiries. He just thinks in this train journey, all of us are like journey and one keep, we don't care. We only keep thinking. So this is Shankaracharya. So everyone is engaged in that work. Shankaracharya is focused on his children, are engaged in planning. Young boys are interested in, opposite gender. Old man always keeps thinking of his family. Nobody has time, right? Pramane Brahmani Kopi na Lagna, no time at all, right? Why do we need SQ, spiritual quotient? We were asking, right? So let's see what is all this about. So everybody does the same work. The cow is also sleeping, he's also sleeping. The animal is eating, you're eating. What is the difference? Right? So the difference is this one. The difference is the body. We are not the body, we are the soul. And that becomes very important. And that is, we already read this, right? Bodily platform, sensual platform, mental, intellectual platform, right? Don't be like the deer, right? Don't be like the deer. Don't get hunt, right? Just the music, you should not just get carried away. So it's important that you take it to the next level. Hare Krishna. And let me pause. Maybe in the end, some more videos are there I can show you. But is there any doubt so far? Any doubts? No doubts? Okay. So I will tell you today the story of Ekalaiva. How many of you all know Ekalaiva? I'm quite sure you may not know the full story. Anybody knows the story of Ekalaiva?
Mataji, he has sacrificed his thumb to the.
Tell from the beginning.
I'm not very much sure about this
No problem.
story.
Whatever you know, you tell. I will tell you the other half.
Yeah. So can you name the guru? Dronacharya, right? Yeah.
Dronacharya.
So Eklavya was not from a very like he was not from a princely family, so he was just Adivasi, and he went to the Dronacharya and asked him to give siksha to him to for like the Dhanurvidya, but the Dronacharya refused to give it and said that I only give teachings to princes and prince, and I am not allowed to give those teachings to you. You are not, you don't belong to any king, or you are not a son of king. So he just tried a lot, but when he came to the end that he is not going to give any teaching to me, he went to the forest and he made a idol of Dronacharya, and in front of that idol he used to practice every day the Dhanurvidya, and very soon he came up with a like very nice skills and very awesome skills in Dhanurvidya. And then he came to the Dronacharya and showed him like he's very nice, like actually he actually once hunted for a dog, and there was a nice structure of the arrows he made in the mouth of dog. And by seeing this, Dronacharya was literally surprised, like who is this person who came up with this with such structure in the dog's mouth and very safely. He's not dead, like, but still the arrows are in his mouth. And then later when he came to know it's Dronacharya, and I mean it's Eklavya, Dronacharya was surprised, and anyway then he asked, like he remembered, like he has taken the oath that he will make the best I mean he wanted Arjuna should be the best in Dhanurvidya and no one else should be. So he actually asked Eklavya to give up his thumb as a what we say, like what we used to give, um, like the fees or something. Like I don't know what to say that.
Yeah. So the Guru Dakshina.
Yeah, Guru Dakshina. So like Eklavya didn't thought even in a minute, and he has cut the thumb and given that thumb to Dronacharya as a Guru Dakshina, and he was actually, like I guess, like broke into tears, like he was such a great, a very kind of dedicated to his work and Guru. So yeah, that was I guess
Thank you so much, Divya. This is the side of story we know. Whatever you told was very nice, right? But one thing which was not noticed in this entire story, whatever you said was perfect. Just a small thing. Yes, Ekalaiva is Sudra, right? And Dronacharya had never taken a bet that only Arjuna. He was more than happy to teach someone, but who is a Kshatriya, because they believe that only Kshatriya should be taught because they knew protection. So a particular vidya comes as a package. If you see, even Krishna and Balram went to Ujjain and learned from Sandipani Muni. Why did he go to Sandipani Muni to learn that? Is because 64 days, 64 vidya. So it is not that you will learn directly Dhanu. You may become a specialist in something, like how bow and arrow Arjun was specialized, and Bhima and Duryodhana were specialized in the club. But that doesn't mean they don't know this. They also learned it. So it's like a package. And this applies even in any martial arts, right? So I know karate, so I'm telling from there. So what happens is, in your initial state, they don't teach you the nunchak, right? So what you do, nor do they teach you where you have to hit, which can really cause trauma. They will tell you very basics. Why? Because when you reach a particular stage, you have that level of involvement and maturity to know when to apply. So only when you cross up about 5 levels, right, 5-6 levels, they will start teaching you the more sensitive thing. Why? They can teach you at the first level because everybody needs protection. Yes, you can, but then we won't know where to apply. So Ekaleva, what you told was right to the extent it is not because Dronacharya, because if that is the case, then why did he teach to Dishta Drumina, who was Drupada's son, whom he knows very well is going to kill him? So Brahmins had very high standards, but over time, it's like your Chinese secret, right? This purpose was different, but it was totally changed into a different story. So finally, what actually happened is, yes, you're right. He went and when he was actually using the bow and arrow, this dog was barking and it disturbed him. So much that he went and shot the arrow on the dog. And there were many people who came and told him, right, this is happening. And it was an innocent dog. It didn't die and it was bleeding to death. So imagine 7 arrows in the mouth of the dog and anger being used. You don't need to do it, right? You can just shoo the dog away. So this was called deployment of the things wrongly. And what Dronacharya was thinking is he had to take a decision where judgment was in his hand, and which applies to all gurus, right? If your Shishya does a mistake, he has to be penalized. And this particular Dronacharya, when he did this, even though he accepted him as a guru, he used this chance. But then the fact of it is, he did not know where to use it. That was a fault of it. This is what happens when the right person does not get the knowledge. So the Sudras have only one set of knowledge, right? They do not have the Vedic knowledge as to where they should apply, where they should not. He was excellent, but being excellent in an art also is what is very important, is where you can apply. So now the same thing I'm extending, the same situation Karna also was. Now you may ask that Karna was also a Sudra. True, but then that's on papers, right? But actually Karna was not a Sudra, he was a Kshatriya. So obviously there's this Kshatriya gene and blood and his mentality. He believed in Dharma largely. Of course, he did Agadharmic and he joined the hands of Duryodhana, but that apart. But what happened, the same situation came to him. And what he did is he did the same 7 arrows, but what he did is he just shot it around the dog, right? It did not a single arrow hurt the dog, right? Only thing is the moment he finished, he just released the dog. So he just felt the disturbance, but look at his concentration. Even if the dog barked, he didn't care. He felt his concentration could be higher, because see, you may be thinking, what's the big deal of smoking? It's important for them because it's like your exam, because there they don't have notes. They have to tell via shloka. So the thing becomes very important. Your thoughts are very, very important, right? Your concentration is important. Now, what do you feel? Now you understand why Karna is 1 notch higher. And now I'm going to extend this. The same thing happened to our Arjuna. So a similar situation Arjuna did, and Arjuna never bothered to even do that. But obviously, it's very foolish because the dog is going to come and bite him, because whatever they're doing seems weird. And when he was shooting his target, at that time, the target 1 arrow went and the balance 6 went and formed a jail for him, for Arjuna, not for the dog, right? And that time when they asked him, Arjuna said, my duty is to concentrate. My idea is to focus on the arrow, 1 arrow. And if the dog is creating trouble, this is called Adi Baudika. And look at the way Adi Atmika he changed. He said, that's my problem, right? If I'm not able to focus, I don't fix the dog, I fix myself. That means I'm a failure. And if the dog has to bite me, I have to protect me. So I have to put myself in fence. I cannot lock the dog, which very practical example happens to us. If the neighbor comes and shouts at us, we can close our ears or mind, but we cannot tell the neighbor, just shut up and go, right? Which is what we eventually do. That's a different story. Because our problem, we can control ours. We cannot control others. So this shows the quality of 3 people. And of course, Karna still was good, but good enough. So Arjuna was always 1 top notch above. But Ekaleva, having a Dhanur Vidya in the hands of Ekaleva could be dangerous. That is why Dronacharya pulled out, even though he did give it to Duryodhana, sorry, not Duryodhana, Drupada, son, Dushtadumna, right? Because why I started digging the stories, even this was there in my mind. I thought, how could he do this, right? And then so this is why we need Vedas, we need Shastras, because deep down, if we dive, stories are there. Otherwise, superficially, a lot of stories come. A lot of stories are just made and then concocted. That's called mental concoction for our convenience, right? There is no truth, there is no fact. We start building up stories just to suit us. Hare Krishna, and with this, the story is also over. I hope you enjoyed the story, because I really liked the story, because this was a black dot in my mind. for many years. Hare Krishna. And thank you, Divya, for very beautifully narrating 99% of the story. Hare Krishna. Anybody there or nobody there? So silent. You can all unmute yourself and tell Hare Krishna one time. I will stop the recording. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. And Divya, you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So today you will chant 30 times. So I will tell Hare Krishna and I will let you chant. Is that fine? So I'll stop the recording. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Acha, you all are back. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.